Hi friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shannon and I am homeschooler to a fourth grader. Well, we just wrapped up fourth grade, and today I wanted to share with you what we used while we were learning about the California Gold Rush. So if you live in California like I do, then fourth grade is when you would cover California history, and part of that is the California Gold Rush. And so I wanted to share what we used while learning about this topic, because when I was researching how I was gonna pull these resources together, there wasn't a ton out there for me. So I thought maybe if I share everything I used, it could help somebody else when they're piecing together their curriculum for this subject. This is a Franken study, so this is something where I take a bunch of different resources. Usually I combine games, books, hands-on, and all into one unit to learn about a subject. And so while our standards just required us to read about, the certain key topics of the California Gold Rush, I really wanted to make it more immersive. And so that's kind of what I'm going to share with you today, all the pieces that we used. So our main resources were three things. We used week 23 of the Studies Weekly California, and this goes over really everything you would need to know for the standards if you're just going off the standards. How did Californians respond to the gold rush, the Constitutional Convention of 1849, making a home in California and how it affected Asian and European immigrants, the new communities and the growth of the cities. You have American migrants and a true melting pot section. You have some stuff on the Indian Indenture Act of 1850, mining techniques. Move this so you can see it. Then you have the impact of the gold rush and the end of an era. So this is one piece that we use for some of the main information points. And you can also, there's so many books in the library around this topic also. That's another great resource. We also used our Piney Forest curriculum that we have. Okay, so their section wasn't huge, but it just added, with the layer. So you have the main routes, the different mining technology, business opportunities. And then that's all that they had for the gold rush in there. Then we have what was the gold rush. You have the contents if you wanted to pause and take a look at that. They have a good mix of photos as well as the text. So this is a great resource as well. I created a couple pieces so we can document the main routes and then also mining techniques. And we homeschool with a charter, so aside from just trying to help her retain any of the information that we're reading about, and sometimes putting pen to paper helps retain that information, whether it's drawing or writing, we also need to give samples that we're learning, the stuff that we're supposed to be learning for our charter. And so that was some of the ways that I did that. Now, one of the things that I highly recommend is that if you are at all possible, because maybe you are close in geography, or maybe even have the means, we're lucky enough to be very close in geography with the locations, some key locations when it comes to the California Gold Rush. But I cannot express enough like what field trips have done for us when it comes to our lessons. And especially in history, we did, this huge expansive Franken study unit when it came to the California State Missions as well. Like, really take advantage of what we have near us and we could do more easily because us living in California. Because reading about mining is one thing, but going to these places, it made it feel more real. Walking through an actual preserved gold rush town just changed the feel of the unit completely. And so we went to a couple of places, and there was actually 3 places that I really wanted to go, and we only did 2, but I am still planning on doing the 3rd one. It will probably just be during the summer. It just won't be during the school year, which we don't homeschool year round, but we kind of homeschool year round. So I take that for what it is. Like, we don't do all of our lessons all year, but we do, there's still a lot of stuff we do in the summer if we didn't get to it during the school year, because we really like to take our time with some topics. So one of the places we went to was Columbia State Historic Park. Okay, so this is a gold rush town that is still up and running. And this was just so special. I cannot, honestly, I just really can't even put into words how special this was. I mean, I don't even know, honestly, my daughter, she enjoyed it. She absolutely loved it, had a great time. But I almost felt like the impact it made on her dad and I was just even greater, because I think you just appreciate history more as you get older. And so doing it as a family, it was really a special moment for us, for our homeschool year. So Columbia State Historic Park, I just put together a little timeline of Columbia, a little scavenger hunt, just some little prompts as we kind of went through the town, and then just had her sketch a scene from it. They had a stagecoach you can ride in, and a robber would come up and, hold you up, trying to rob you. But it was it wasn't scary. It was really comical. And if you really leaned into it, it just was a really great experience. It was hilarious. So in this little town, there was this little shop, and I think that there's a picture of it. No, this was the little shop. So, and it had these newspapers, and it's a current newspaper, right? So this was February 15th to March 15th. So, and we went in March. But there's a lot of historical stuff in here. The first curveball. It talks about the name of the paper and what that name means. There's an area where you can actually subscribe to this regularly. It's a monthly publication, but there's a lot of little gold nuggets, no pun intended, in here. The legal system in the 1800s. I saw something about, it talks about women in history. There was something in here about leprechauns, because it's in March. Then there's what's happening. So this is current day. So that's kind of cool. Just lots of information. So this was really fun to go through. Another thing, okay, so these were from the stagecoach. They punch a little horse sound when you get onto the stagecoach. the little visitor center there, you can get a self-guided tour. And it has just really interesting information in here. I remember, so the numbers are on here, and then they're on here also with the name of the building, and then this is information about them. So we were eating in this pizza place, which the pizza place there was dynamite, and we were learning about how it was, I can't remember now, but it was really fascinating what we were learning about what that building used to be that we were eating in. And so that's really fun. We picked up this, oh, sorry about the glare. And then this has some events. Let me try to get it close so you can see, but not have that glare. There, I thought it was in, oh, I think it's the Columbia Diggins. I think that's when it's like the best time to go, because they have like people that are dressed up in costume and everything, and so it's even more than when we went, which they did have a little bit of that, but I mean it's really lively during that time from my understanding. I got a gold pan kit from Amazon, and I'm going to be honest, I would not recommend this. The play dirt that comes with it, or they call it pay dirt, it was weird. I don't know how to explain it. It was like not dirt. It like got kind of foamy when we added water to it, and it just... It gave like weird toxic sludge vibes, and I just wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But at the same time, it is a fun way to pull out some pyrite, and so we learned about pyrite. And then this we got from one of our local museums, and so we were comparing the difference of gold, actual gold, to pyrite. And so that was fun to compare those two. They do also gold mining in the Columbia Historic State Park, but it's the type where you get like the little gems. Like there's not really gold in there, well, that we found anyways. And we got this little coin also from that the museum, the local museum. So this wasn't at the Historic State Park or anything like that. These were some posters that we did get from the Columbia Historic State Park. We're really kind of a sucker for like historical posters and replicas of anything, to be honest with you. And so we got the Sacramento Theater, which Sacramento is the city that we live in. This rewards poster, and then the Miners 10 Commandments, 1849. And this font is super tiny. Really cool document. So another place we went was called Gold Bug Mine. It's called Gold Bug Mine. And this was kind of a rush trip. I was not feeling well in the morning, and so I ended up sleeping later than normal, and so we went later, and so we went like right before they closed, so it was super rushed. I'll try to put some, if we took video and images, I'll put something up so you can kind of see what that looks like. While it was super rushed, the experience was still really cool. Just immersing yourself and really getting an idea of what that could feel like, or like, you know, connecting the geography with, you know, where everything kind of happened. With it being rushed, that was really cool. One of the things that we got from that place is this Pure Magic popcorn rock. They made this look all vintagey, and so you're supposed to take this and then you put it in vinegar and then you wait, and then it's supposed to create popcorn crystals. So we're excited to do that. That could be really fun. And then the place that we didn't go to, because because what the plan was to go here and then the gold bug mine, because they're really close together. But again, I had gotten sick in the morning, and so we weren't able to do both when we went. But that was Marshall Gold Discovery State Historic Park. And we drove through here when we were going to the gold bug mines, and it was much more immersive than I even could tell, like researching it online. And so, we are planning to go back and really kind of make a day of it. But when you go to their like website, the Historic State Park website, you can print out this Junior Ranger activity book, and then if you complete some of the stuff in here, then they can become a Junior Ranger. And depending on their age, a minor, a 49er, or a prospector. And so they have a scavenger hunt and some worksheet type pages. Then a map. Mining methods, bingo. Some plants of Coloma, wildlife. This is just a really fun, free resource that we will use once we go there. Also, there's a little town called Sonora outside of not far from the Columbia State Park, and we ended up staying there. That way we didn't have to drive all the way back home, and then we can kind of stretch it out into 2 days. And there is a used bookstore that has these historical areas. I'm going to post photos because I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain this. It's like a store, a used bookstore / bar that was built around maybe an old mine, because they have these areas, like these peaky hole areas where you can see like remnants of mining and stuff like that. I'm probably explaining that horribly. I'm hoping that horrible explanation with the visuals will make sense. Okay, last but not least, the games. Now, I got 3 games. We only played 2. We're still going to play 1. The one that we did not play, I think, is the one that might have had the most educational value. And like I said, we're still going to play it. We just didn't get to it. But the 2 that we did play, while they weren't necessarily educational in any way, they were more just themed. My daughter, she loved them both. I mean, she asks us to play these games all the time. So one of them is Gold Grab. And this is a trick-taking game. And if you don't know what a trick-taking game is, you can research that. I will not bore you with the definition. We're a big gaming family, and so I remember when I first started gaming, though, my first trick-taking game, I was like, what does that even mean? But again, I don't want to bore you with the details of what it is, but you can look it up. Just know that that's the type of game it is a trick-taking game. And I personally think that trick-taking games are some of the games that are a little bit easier to play with kids, because you're essentially trying to get a higher number than the card before you. Most trick-taking games, that's kind of the biggest basis of the game, is trying to get the higher number. There's other things layered into it when it comes to certain games, but that's the biggest gist of it. And so this one was an absolute huge hit. The other one we played, this one was kind of hard for me to find. So I hate sharing stuff that's hard to find, I'm going to be honest. But I still share it because while this was hard to find, I think I saw it on somebody else's video and they said it was hard to find, and I ended up finding it. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way sometimes, right? This game is one of her favorite games, and there is literally nothing educational about this game, when it comes to the Gold Rush, it's just fun to play, and she just enjoys playing it. Like I said, it's really just more of a themed. Oh, I don't think that helped. And so this game, what you do is, let me show you the back real quick. You have this box. It's the box of the game. And you would take all this stuff out. These are the characters you would pick. Each person, up to 4 people can play, would get a dynamite stick. And so all you would have in here are these pieces. And they'd all be flipped over, so all you see is the rocks. And then whoever's turn it is yells boom bang gold. They yell boom bang gold, and then everybody throws their dynamite in here, and you're trying to flip these over to where these gold nuggets or special tokens show. Oh my god, dog hair everywhere. So everybody throws their dynamite in here, and then you're trying to grab all the gold pieces or the special tokens. And there's some other like rules that kind of make it fun. Like this guy, like he's not afraid of ghosts, but everybody else is afraid of ghosts. So if there's a ghost token in here, and if it flips over, this player would be able to say, "Watch out, ghost!" And everybody has to put their hands on their head and say, "Help," or something like that. And then that gives that person more time to grab stuff than other people. And each character has like their own thing that they're not afraid of. This is a huge hit with my daughter. If you've seen any of my videos before, you know that I've mentioned plenty of times, one of the reasons we incorporate so many games is she's a very, very active, hands-on learner. And so incorporating this kind of stuff just really gets her excited, and it makes the stuff she's less excited about a little bit easier to digest. And then the last game that we didn't get to, which like I said would probably have been maybe a little bit more educational than the other ones, I don't know because we haven't played it yet, is Sutter's Mill. This one was also kind of hard to get. I get a lot of my used games that are older from, what is it called? Noble Knight Games. They have like a lot of used games on there, so it's easier to find older games on there. So that's where I got this. This kind of gives a description if you wanted to pause and read that and kind of how the game is. This is 2 to 4 players, 10 plus, takes about an hour, which is why we never really got to it. We just never dedicated the time to it. But yeah, so those were the last pieces that we used when it came, I'll move all that because the glare actually, when it came to learning about the California Gold Rush. I'm adding in this voiceover because I forgot to mention one other thing we did was a Lego set that was a little gold mine. And that was really fun and cool, and it lit up. Not Lego's brand, it was like an off brand, but it included the electricity portion of it and stuff, and that was really cool. So I'm going to have some pictures in here that go with my voiceover. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope anybody, that sees this, that is planning on covering the Gold Rush, gets ideas or, of places to go or things to use or implement. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Until the next one. Bye.